DBS community, welcome back to another video here with Kyle Chris, and today I have our was it top four? Is that right?
Sure.
Top four deck from Jacob, Mr. Oob himself. This is a very interesting deck, and I think it took a lot of people off guard, as we'll probably find out here. But my man ended up getting top four with Blue Oob. Is that correct?
That's right. The new set 21 Oob.
So give us kind of a, I'm sure obviously you're extremely happy. We're all obviously all pretty happy for you here. Everyone who plays against you at locals, that you were able to do so well with this deck, and you were so confident, in being able to play this deck. So kind of give us a little bit of a breakdown of, the deck, and give us a kind of a sneak peek into how this deck performs and the deck list and everything.
Sure. So first, I got top four Sunday Gen Con Online Regional. I'll go over my matchups real quick, just as I remember them. The old set 5, I think, Green Super 17, I got a win. Beat Majin Vegeta, the new Blue Baby. I lost to Green Gohan, and then I beat Golden Frieza, Bulma, and then Expert 21.
But you beat a lot of meta decks with this.
Yeah. Deck. Yep, I did, and then it felt good. Every single win was from milling my opponent out. So why don't we get into the list and see the fun parts?
Okay.
So Oob itself is pretty basic: front side, swing, draw. Awaken when at 4 or less, or you play the 2-cost Mr. Boo Z battle card. Draw 1, untap 1, go down to 6.
Mm-hmm.
The backside's kind of interesting. His auto is when you swing at the opponent's leader. At the beginning of the damage step, if they have no cards in their combo area, you get to draw an additional card. So this is, some people early in game, they just let me draw extra cards, which helps in my defense for some later turns.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, he has an activate main once per turn. I choose a battle card from the opponent's drop, and I put it in their Z energy. So
which is pretty good. That's got a lot of interesting things.
There's some decks where taking the cards out of their drop does have an effect on them. Something like SSG Trunks. You take their 5-drop out of their drop, if they put it back, of course. You take Kotsukai's out. Green Gohan, you can take out 1-drop Gokus.
The Expert 21 deck, I'm sure you can probably take their super combos and stuff.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So it's a little neat thing. Sorry, let's get into this list. So first off, we have 4 of Mr. Boo in Disguise. Just a 1-drop cantrip. His effect, though, when you combo hit, if your opponent has 3 or less Z energy, your opponent draws a card and then chooses a card from their hand and puts it in their Z energy.
Okay.
So this is step 1 of milling your opponent.
Yeah, so you basically draw a card and then you force them to draw a card, basically.
Your opponent draws a card and then chooses a card from their hand and puts it in their Z energy.
Yeah.
So next up, we have the 3-drop Mr. Boo. If your opponent has 2 or more energy, you can pay 1 to play him. When he's played, each person draws a card, and then your opponent chooses a card from their hand and puts it in their Z energy. He's a blocker, so a lot of times turn 2, turn 3, you start playing these, you have a little bit of defense.
That's kind of annoying. I don't like you forcing me to draw cards.
Yes.
That's not fun. This is like a weird blue Lord Slug hug deck.
Exactly.
But it's
so,
blue, so
I saw
it's better.
these archetype cards, and I'm like, all right, we're taking this and we're going the mill route. So,
and anybody who doesn't know Jacob, milling is his #1 infatuation with this card game. If there's a card that mills, he's going to play it more likely.
Absolutely. Exactly. So next up, we threw in the Janemba Unison. Its plus 0 is each person draws a card, and then your opponent mills one from the top of their deck into their draw.
So 2 cards again.
Exactly. Yeah. The +1 is it gains crit for the turn, and then -2 if they have 15 or less, it gains 15 in triple strike. I used the +1 once yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I was against Expert 21 because I wanted to try to make them use their key channeler, the 5-drop Android 17, multiple times to make this last longer, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
In every other matchup, though, it was +0 every time it was out. We want them drawing as many cards as we can.
And it seemed like, I think you said, people were not really focusing on the unison. It's probably because, obviously, a lot of them maybe didn't know what your deck did. But they would just leave the unison on board, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to make you mill an extra 2 every turn, I guess.
Yeah, and this helps me, too. As we'll see, I need cards in my hand to survive. Because I run 4 Oceanus.
Yep.
And I need those cards to discard for Oceanus, so it's very important for me to keep that unison too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's a floodgate. They have to mill 4 if Oceanus hits the board. And once people realize what I'm doing, and like turn 3 or turn 4, I pop one of these out. They do not swing through it.
Yeah.
So it can end a turn pretty much.
Yeah, and how many times did people like I'm sure no one was expecting you to play Oceanus in your deck, so like I don't think people were ready for it.
I think a couple people realized like turn 4, and when I plopped it down, they're like, "Oh, I see what you're doing now." And I think some people start trying to figure out how they can get through things without milling themselves out, and it gets tough for them.
Yep. Absolutely.
So. All right, so then this is the part that everyone said was the spiciest. 2 Rebirth of Justice and 2 Full Power Freezes.
I wondered if you were going to run this card. Like, I don't know if we ever talked about this. I don't know if we ever did. I was like, man, I wonder if he actually ran this combination. Because I didn't look at your deck list that you put in the Discord. I wanted to be surprised myself. So,
yep.
That's nice. I'm glad you actually ran that.
So, let's see. Yesterday, put off this combo twice. Once against Blue Baby, and then once against Expert 21.
Okay.
This got me the win against Expert 21. Against Yellow, I took them out from the side because Yellow can just rest it as soon as it's played. It's just...
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good there. And I also took it out against Green Gohan because I didn't want them to get stuck in my hand.
Fair.
But you swing, you neg their whole board, and for each battle card neg, they milled 2. That could finish the game turn 4 or turn 5 or turn 6 usually.
Yeah. Pretty devastating.
It's fun. Then my other finisher, if that doesn't work, I have 1 King Cole in my main deck.
Okay.
6 energy. When he's played, they mill 5.
Yeah.
This finished off, I think, 2 games yesterday.
And without God Sealing anymore for blue decks, like this card just comes down, you're like, yep, I just lose.
In testing, someone used Golden Avenger to hit it. So
oh, interesting.
That felt bad.
Yeah. Wow.
Almost every other deck, though, it hits the board. Against Yellow, it could be iffy if they're like Frieza, Cold Bloodless.
Mm-hmm. You're probably not playing that in that situation anyways, though.
Yeah, exactly. If they have energy open, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So those are the main milling pieces. The rest is all just, basic. I have a 2-2 super combo split. My goal in this game is to stay alive and just watch you draw as many cards as possible, so these can help a lot.
Yeah, you got your draw super combo, you have your super combo so you can fix your energy.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Another important part of this deck are the oops. We have the 6-drop, 4 of them. If your opponent has 2 or more energy, you can pay 1 to play this. You can select any of their battle cards that don't have barrier and put it in their Z energy. You can also take a life. And then he has a weird effect that not too many people do. At the end of the turn you play him, it goes underneath your opponent's leader. And during your opponent's next turn, their leader gets -5 for the turn. So that's another addition that can help you stay alive.
How many times did you forget to play this card back out?
During the regional, none.
Okay.
But in a lot of test games, I was forgetting it.
Yeah.
So in addition to that, we have the 8-drop. I was running 3 of these.
Okay.
This card is very good. Its cost gets reduced by 2. 3 for each card in your opponent's Z energy. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, you can select 3 of their battle cards from their battle area and/or draw 1 and play them. And then he has an auto once per turn. If there's a total of 7 or more Z energy between you and your opponent activates a counter. They have to take a card from the hand and put it in their Z energy. So this helped me clear boards, helped me take stuff out of the drop if I needed to as well, and put some pressure on if I felt like I needed to kill the opponent rather than milling them out.
Right. Which you milled out. You said you milled out every single opponent that you beat.
Every single opponent I did. But Majin Vegeta matchup, I played this every other turn I could because I wanted to push him to get cards out of his hand and to see if I could take him to 1 so he couldn't use his Z leader ability.
Gotcha. That's fair.
Some other defensive tools to 8-drop SGRs. These are just good if they go all in on a battle card, you get rid of it, or getting rid of some early threats. I main deck 1 Intoxicated by Justice because there's so much blue hate that people side in, the 1-drop barrier cards. Negate the attack, select the 1-drop, put it at the bottom of their deck.
I hate that card.
Kind of goes against the milling, but I'd rather stay alive.
Yeah.
1 Overwhelm, just Bardock, draw 2, discard 1. It's just helpful for me to see certain pieces like Hatch. Surprisingly, most people weren't expecting me to play Hatch. I think everyone now expects Kaioken or Beast Hunt.
Yeah.
So this helped just stay alive. It was very clutch in one game. I forget which one, but I was down to 3 life. I took a damage. It was Hatch. Ended their turn and then milled them out.
Yeah, that honestly, like, that's probably the worst part is, like, even if, like, you can push through an Oceanish, like, all right, I got this, and then you just hatch them, you're like, it just takes all of the energy out of them. You're just like, all right, I guess I lose now. Not much I can do in that situation.
I think I got that feeling from a couple people like, oh, I have 4 cards in my deck. Okay.
Okay. Guess I lose.
All right, bye. 4 D magic.
Yep.
Just common 4 beans.
Normal stuff.
4 UIs.
Very interesting.
15k. No energy. It's just really strong.
That card is ridiculous. I think out of all of the iconic attack rares, that might be the best one. I know sells really good, but like just being a 15k just no energy requirement, that is just intense. It's insane.
Yeah, and like I said, my goal is stay alive because all decks now draw so much.
Yeah.
I help them along, but I just need to stay alive, and we're golden. 2 token negates. I used them once or twice. They weren't that useful.
Okay.
And then finally, 3 defending friends. This is the same thing where they have to bottom deck a card from their hand to swing with battle cards, but I still rather stay alive than the alternative. So
right.
I tried to use these earlier in the games, like turn 2 and 3, before they knew what I was doing. And then after that, we're golden because we can do Oceanus.
Yeah.
So that was the main deck, the fun milling strategy with Oob.
You were at what, 50, 51, 52?
I was at 54 cards.
54, okay.
Because I was afraid I would deck out myself, which I got close.
You draw a lot.
Yeah, if they let me use my leader swing, the Janemba Unison. So, yeah, I have to be careful too.
Okay. Gotcha.
I guess we'll go to the Z deck next. So, this is the Z battle card you play to awaken. It doesn't have deflect, so against blue, if they have 1 open energy and they know what you're gonna do, you kind of gotta make a decision if you're gonna play it, because they could just desperate measure and your turn's over.
Yeah.
When he's played, each your opponent draws a card and then adds a card from their hand to the Z energy. He has a Z stack for the Oob 3-drop. The Oob 3-drop. So the permanent on Mr. Boo is if your opponent has 3 or more Z energy, a Z battle card in play, or a Z leader. If this card is removed from the battle area, you get to play out Oob on top instead. So most likely you block an attack, you play out Oob on top. Oob, when he's played, he gains barrier for the turn. If it's my turn, anytime they Z charge anything, I get to choose a card in their battle area and or drop and put it in their Z energy as well. So the deck has a ton of removal options.
Yeah, that card is intense. That's a lot of. I know, like obviously on after the turn it doesn't have barrier, so there's a good chance it might get removed. But like not being able to Z charge for some decks is very difficult for them to kind of get play in their their turns correctly.
My favorite part is after I block this comes out during my next turn, I just activate main, make them put a card from their drop into their Z energy, and then I can remove a battle card for free.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then he has an activate battle once per turn. If the opponent has 3 or more Z energy and we're in battle with an Oob, I get to use a 5k combo for my drop with a skills negated. And it's once per turn, so if I had 2 of these out, I could do 2 cards.
Oh wow,
for free.
Interesting.
Yep, it's pretty good. It's 20k body too.
Does it so it just means an Oob card? So can your leader use it?
My leader can use it. This can use it. Any of the 6 or 8 drops.
Okay.
Any Oob.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's just an Oobs in battle.
All right.
Then of course we have our Z leader. 3 or less, 3 Z energy, 1 blue.
How many times have you actually played this card?
Usually when it gets iffy, I'll do it. I don't necessarily like it, but another thing with this, when he swings, you draw 1, and you can choose any of your opponent's battle cards and put it in their Z energy. So more free removal.
More removal. Yep.
He has an activate main, which I never use because I don't play the deck like this. If your opponent has 5 or more Z energy, you can choose one of your blue battle cards that has a Mr. Boo underneath it and switch it to active mode. So the main archetype has 4 and 3 drops.
Yeah.
That you can union absorb, put the Mr. Boo underneath, and play a 6 or 8 on top. That's mainly what that's for.
Yeah, it's like why would you even play that? It's like not even. There's better cards.
Not in my deck.
Yeah.
And then finally, if your opponent has 10 or more Z energy, you can activate battle and get 10k in double strike. That happened, I think, one time where the opponent just let me keep adding stuff to the Z energy, so I could do that.
And you can use that defensively too, can't you?
Correct.
That's
once
really
per
good.
turn, so it's offense and defense.
That's pretty good.
And then finally, I put 1 Burton, and this was mainly for barrier removal as needed.
Mm-hmm.
Still expensive, 2 and 2.
Yeah.
I played this early one game just to have it on board, so I could use this, the defending friends.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Barrier. I was afraid of the other card getting removed.
I see. That's smart.
So that's main deck stuff. Side deck now. 1 Majin Buu Unison, just the best blue Unison there is.
Yep.
I put this in for decks that usually go bigger, and like I put it against Blue Baby and Majin Vegeta, and I saw it in those games, so it just disrupts things so much.
Agreed. It's very annoying to deal with.
Yeah. 2 Mafubas.
Strong card.
Yeah, it's kind of needed right now with Green Gohan. I have my second Intoxicated by Justice. I put this in pretty much every game because I'm just always expecting people to put the blue hate in.
Yep. Smart.
Second King Cold. This is for games where I took out all 4 of the 2 rebirth and 2 freezes. I put the second one of these in, so I could play one, hatch, and then play the next one, next turn. 2 cunning trios. These, in the more aggro matchups, I put these into. Just being able to help survive some stuff.
Yeah, stops a card from probably dealing a strike damage to you, and then on defense you can pop a 0-cost card from their combo area, which just makes it more difficult.
The main thing I put these in for were I put them in for against Bulma and Golden Frieza. I was afraid of Cooler SCR, so it didn't happen, but the idea was to remove Barrier and then use my SGR to remove Cooler, or use this to bomb that Cooler.
Gotcha. That's smart.
3 desperate measures. It's just needed in some things. I use this I put all 3 against Expert 21. The idea being to stop their Awaken cards and or the 2-drop Android 21 from ramping.
Yep.
And Kuso.
Oh, we don't like Kuso.
Kuso.
We don't like Kuso.
I like Kuso, but I don't like it played against me, so let's stop that. 2 Deborahs, once again, just I feel it's needed against green almost.
Did you play it? Like, did it feel useful in the Gohan matchup?
So I misplayed pretty hard against green Gohan. I forgot that I was under the effect of Quitsukai, and I did this. So I warped 2 cards, draw 2 cards. So it really didn't. It felt bad at that moment.
Yikes! Yeah.
I had misplayed quite a bit against green Gohan, so it didn't feel good. I honestly don't know if I would put them in again, though.
Yeah,
it feels like I see them too early, and then they just kind of get stuck there.
Honestly, it feels. I was noticing that too. Like, it feels like Deborah does not even really help in the green Gohan matchup as much. It might be for other green decks, but it probably more so like it. I mean, not even Expert 21, because most of the stuff goes at the bottom of the deck. Yep. Yeah, Gohan. I don't think it's great against Gohan anymore.
Yeah, in theory. I agree, and I get kind of tight on energy as it is. Oceanus is 2. It just gets expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I did 1 Trunks Emotional Blow. I didn't ever put this in, so I don't think it's really needed. I was thinking about barrier removal mostly.
Gotcha.
And then 2 Golden Avengers. Once again, I was thinking barrier removal. I put these in Golden Frieza and Bulma matchups, actually, to stop Golden Frieza. Cooler.
Golden Cooler.
Yes.
It's okay. They're like the same guy.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Whatever.
Pretty much. Okay. So out of your matchups, I know obviously a lot of people seem to be very, I'll say tilted, but no one likes getting milled out. And from somebody who who enjoys the milling strategy, it's a very fun, interesting combination of milling with being able to, like I said before, having that Lord Slug sort of effect, like the self mill, but then also having like traditional milling to the drop area. It's such an interesting combination of a deck, and then having all the blue characteristics. I think realistically, I think this version of the deck could become a like a deck that people end up playing like on a consistent basis, because people love mill, and this is probably the best mill deck that you can play just because of the defensive capabilities. I'm sure you would probably agree, since you're the one playing the deck and you've played probably just as much mill as I have, if not more.
Yeah, I played Janemba Mill quite a bit. I love the deck, but not being able to include 5 costs and higher, it hurts it so much.
Yeah.
So I have Hatch, I have Oceanus in this. Like, the defense is there, and the offense is there too if needed with the oobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
And you said
I think blue, the best blue mill deck right this second.
Yeah, I think this is better than any other mill deck currently. Like my mill deck of choice is Xenosin, but even with Xenosin, I have to run a bunch of dead extra cards, and you get to run tons of combo power. and have hatch. Like, it's just a big difference in what this deck can actually do. Was there anything that you felt like you would change? Like, obviously, like, don't give like super spice away, but is there anything like that, like specifically you think you would change if someone were to pick this deck up from like the main deck or the side deck or anything?
Like I said, for the side deck specifically, Emotional Blow I didn't use. I don't know how effective the Golden Avengers actually are. The Boras don't feel that great. So there's quite a bit of room right there. Other than that, for the side, I think the rest is pretty good.
Okay.
The Z deck, I don't think you want to change it too much. You maybe change Beerus for like Cell, maybe, but I don't know if you want to pay all that Z energy and actual energy cost.
Yeah.
The three of these came in clutch. I forget which matchup, but early game I played one, and at the end they had 3 cards in deck. I played 2 of these in a row because they're not limit 1 or anything. He went down to 1, I passed and won.
Wow. That's funny.
So I don't think he laughed, but you know.
Yeah, that's whatever though. It's fine. I gotta get over it.
Main deck, Rebirth combo is good and interesting. I don't know how great it is against a lot of matchups. Like yellow can just stop it. I feel. Green it wouldn't feel good against because they have the Goku counterplay now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could desperate measures that counterplay though.
Yeah, it's 5 energy. I mean, you're probably gonna have it at that point, but
I'm not doing that turn 4 and tapping out unless I had hatch.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Was there any final things? I know you've been playing. Unfortunately, we get to play test against this deck, so we get to.
One real quick. I need to do a big shout out to Brent. Brent and I went back and forth on a lot of these ideas. He played it in the in-person regional at Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
His record wasn't that great, but he said he was making a ton of misplays and he needed more practice with it. So,
Gotcha.
But huge shout out to him. He helped a ton. And then shout out to Matt for pushing the Rebirth combo.
Okay. You weren't sold on it, and then he kind of.
Yeah, he brought it up a few times, and I was like, I don't know if I want to try it, and I just did, and it was fun.
Quite annoying seeing that card come down, and then just milling 12 or something stupid. It's ridiculous.
I think I milled 8 last night at the most.
That's so annoying. But I am super, honestly, we're obviously, you probably know, but you know, we're very happy for you that you were able to top, especially with the deck that you kind of help create, which is really always a fun thing to do, and you get to play blue, which is your color. So
exactly.
We will. I'll see if you'll send me the deck list, the link. I'll put that in the comments if anybody wants to see that. I'm sure Jacob will be okay with it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Now that the event's over and he's got his invite, he's okay.
Exactly. And there's all kinds of different routes you could take with it. You could go blue-red using Beerus super combo and coolers, milling a little bit extra.
Mm-hmm.
You could go yellow-blue using the old Bojack counterattack.
Oh yeah, the yellow one.
Yeah, it negates the attack and then they mill one.
Yeah, quite fun.
Another option were I had 2 of these in there originally. I took them out for the Rebirth combo. Opponent has 4 more energy and a battle card and you have none. It reduces the energy cost by 3. Deflect. At the end of your turn, you put this at the bottom of your deck and your opponent mills 2. Really good.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying. Did you think the go ahead, sorry, I'll wait till I'm done.
There was an in-archetype negate. You can activate this for free if you pitch Mr. Boo from hand. And I think if...
Draws you a card, right? Or something?
If your life is at 4 or less, too. Yeah, if your opponent has 4 more Z energy, you get to draw a card. So you could just pay 1 and say 4 more replaces itself. So it's not bad. I just didn't have room.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing the deck list with us. Thank you for letting me share it with everybody too. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, Jacob will be at a regional near you, milling out all of your favorite expensive cards. So enjoy. Have fun playing against this deck.
And let's get it meta, guys.
Yeah, it's the Uvolution, I think is what you called it.
I did.
It's definitely gonna happen. So big thank you to again for letting me do this. And if you guys have any comments down below, post those. I'm sure Jacob will love to answer some questions or some hate mail because you milled him out or something. So we'll see. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys in the next one.